Former President Donald Trump is back in New York. He arrived in Manhattan on Wednesday night. He's here for a deposition before New York's Attorney General. A $250 million business fraud lawsuit was brought against him and his company by Attorney General Letitia James. The former president's arrival comes a week after he was arraigned in the Manhattan criminal court. He was charged on 34 counts of felony in that hush money case from District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office. He pleaded not guilty to the charges. This time, Trump's expected to be grilled by New York Attorney General Letitia James, who is suing the Trump Organization over alleged wrongdoings. These include misleading banks and others that inflated the value of golf courses and hotels that bear his name. The Democrat who Trump has blasted over her probe is seeking $250 million from his business. James also seeks to block him from doing business in the state. The New York Attorney General filed a civil lawsuit in the state court in Manhattan last September. The case was filed against Trump and his 3 children for fraud. Donald Trump, along with Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and Ivanka Trump. All 3 are accused of misstating the value of real estate properties, including the president, in order to obtain favorable loans and tax benefits. Trump has countersued James after she filed the case. In March, Trump requested the court to delay the deadline of the case by 6 months. He argued that extending the deadline would provide the necessary time to review, quote unquote, the staggering volume of material. Okay, well, for more on this, we are joined by Adele Nazarian. She's joining us live from Washington, D.C. She is media fellow at the Gold Institute for International Strategy. Adele, welcome back to WION. Another day, another case in New York for Donald Trump. Are all the cases against Donald Trump equal? And, what do you make of this case by Letitia James against the company?
Great to be with you again. No, the only thing that makes these cases against Trump equal is the amount of personal bias and hatred, vitriol, that the individuals behind these lawsuits and cases are bringing upon Trump. I think that's the underlying factor here. And what makes this case different is
go ahead.
I was going to say that this case it's fascinating to me how there are so many businesses, so many entrepreneurs, corporations, individuals, entities that have done similar to what former President Trump has done in the business world, in New York State, frankly. And they do not seem to have been even scathed slightly due to their ability to, let's say, manipulate or work within the legal framework of the U.S. tax code to avoid paying more taxes, or to use certain loopholes that exist in the tax system that they were able to use to their advantage. And I think it's very, very interesting to me, and I'm sure to many of your viewers.
Yeah, absolutely. Trump derangement syndrome, for sure, when it comes to these lawsuits, notably considering the fact that Letitia James ran her campaign on dragging Donald Trump to a courtroom near you, for a lack of a better term. So I want to know the impact, in your opinion, that these cases, one after the other, ultimately will have on the American voter, the American public. We do know that Republicans have stood by Donald Trump, for now at least. But what about the rest of the country? Do you think that there'll be Trump fatigue, and this is what these cases ultimately hope to achieve? Or maybe the other way around?
I think it's a mixed bag. I think it's truly a combination of both Trump fatigue and a combination of that, along with a reinvigoration of the base and also new individuals who weren't as politically engaged or involved. I think we saw a lot more of first-time kind of politically involved, engaged members of civic society when Trump ran the first time in 2016. I think now there have been more people in, let's say, the business space who maybe have who can relate to Trump and what he's going through, or are literally seeing the facts in the cases brought against him and saying something doesn't line up here. This seems like a politically motivated attack. and it's going to cause them to also come out and become first-time voters. Now, whether or not the fatigued voters are going to end up going with a different candidate, like a DeSantis or a Cruz or whoever else is going to be a more formidable GOP contender, or they're going to end up going Democrat, that remains to be seen. But I think what's going to happen over the next, I'd say, 4 months will really, really strongly determine whether or not former President Trump has an actual shot at cinching the nomination in the general election cycle.
Yeah, that's very true, and we'll keep an eye out for those independent voters as well. It's hard to imagine it's so early on in the game, but we can't help but talk about 2024 and the upcoming elections. Adele, thank you so much for joining us on WION, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Thank you. Likewise.